sum up his... I mean, I know he's got obvious claims, but does that sum up his opposition as opposed to him, really?
Yeah, he's a clear form pick. He's rated 127, but his form wouldn't normally be 4 to 6 for a Newbury maiden. So I think it does say plenty about the standard of opposition he's taking on. I mean, it looks a really good opportunity. He's got more than one piece of form, which gives him, a very good race. But this is sort of a good chance, and this just does not look a deep race. This was him running at Warwick last time out, and I don't think this is as good a race today.
He had decent bumper form, Harambe.
Yeah.
He brings reasonable hurdles form into the race, and you can see why he's the favourite. But
definitely.
But is he in any way a proposition for you to back him at 4 to 6?
No, he isn't. But you're pretty pushed to come up with obvious problems. We'll talk about the second favourite in a minute. Point Taken, who's got some flat form in Ireland, but he's head and shoulders got the best hurdle form to date.
Point Taken's just walking behind us. We've got a really good spot here at Newbury. You're looking down on the horses in the paddock. Dan Skelton's just legged Harry up. And actually quite taken by the way he looks. He's obviously performed on the flat in Ireland, coming over here now with Dan. Harry Skelton rides. He's 11 to 2, but on looks, when you're sort of struggling to find opposition to the favourite, there's a positive tick in that box from me. How would you assess him?
Yeah, he looks absolutely fine, and he's clearly got ability. He was a 12 to 1 chance. He won a Dundalk maiden over 10 furlong for John Joseph Murphy. He was bought for 68 grand after that. There's winning hurdlers in the family, which gives you some encouragement breeding-wise, and we know at least he's both in form and got ability. We don't know yet whether he jumps, but we know that he has a level of ability.
I just see whether Dan makes his way past us. If he does, I might try and grab a quick word with him, because obviously it'll be good to hear what he makes of Point Taken in his work that he's done. But it looks as though Dan has spotted me looking around at him and decided to watch it on the big screen in the paddock. But we'll keep our eyes on Dan and see if we can grab a quick word with him. Howling Milan is the second favourite at 5 to 1 for Sam Drinkwater and Sam Twiston Davies. How much on the form book does he have to find if he's to get Harambe thinking?
Well, the form, he's not been disgraced in his 2 hurdle races. He won an Irish Point, was disqualified for a banned substance actually. He's now come over here. He's not been disgraced in a couple of OK hurdle races. At the moment, it does show he's got his limitations. His certainly form is some way off Harambe's, but he has got ability, and this, if anything, is a slight drop in class.
Yeah, we've touched on Point Taken just a few moments ago. Those are the first 3 in the market there. There's Born to Sting making his way down to the start for Tom George and Kieran Gethings.
He was tailed off in a Chepstow bumper before Christmas. Only a 6 to 1 chance. More was expected, but he certainly didn't show any obvious pace.
I know that you're a keen golfer. I'm sure that, unlike Michael McIntyre's show on a Saturday, you're firmly tuned into the telly for Sunday or at Augusta, aren't you?
I am. Why is that? Sorry.
Well, there's a horse called Sunday at Augusta in this race.
I didn't notice that.
Sorry, it wasn't a complete tangent.
Right, where are we going? He's second of 4 in a Tremor bumper on the second of 2 starts in that sphere. But he had 1 run over hurdles. He was 100 to 1 chance, and he was a well-beaten 8th at Ascot. Hard to enthuse.
Yeah, that was a Grade 2 contest.
Oh, a better race, but he was still beaten far enough.
Yeah, definitely. There is Howling Milan making his way down to the start. Sam Twiston Davies on board. He looks a little bit keen on the way to the start, actually. It'll be interesting to see whether runners take the Niall Houlihan route, having perhaps listened to Gary Moore in the after the first race.
Yeah, I suspect Clearance will probably take that route, but whether Clearance is good enough to figure, I doubt.
Of the others, are there any that I mean, there's a lot that we haven't mentioned, but who would the horses that perhaps people wouldn't expect you to go, well, this has got a bit of a squeak be?
Jules I like in the paddock, and that's nothing to do with their ability, but probably down the line going to be chasing. Big and Better is well named. He is big, and let's hope he gets better, because he hasn't shown too much, but he really is a big strapping chasing type. I quite like Disco de Plage in the paddock. And again, he's had big prices, all his starts, not shown very much, but physically he's certainly got some sort of scope.
4 to 7 now about Harambe.
Yeah.
Is that just a case of punters going, there's just nothing that can beat him? And the fact that there's not seemingly considerable support for Point Taken would suggest that of the horses that we haven't seen in this code, this is Harambe's very much to lose.
It's a very un-Newbury race, this, Ollie. It's a big field. Several of them, the vast majority of them who've run over hurdles have been big prices and have shown very, very little. Very little. You've got the second favourite has got some form in on the all-weather at Dundalk. Won a race, and we know he's got ability. What he's going to be like as a hurdler, I don't know. And then bibs and bobs of promise from 1 or 2, but certainly if he ran to, I'm not sure he has run to 127 so far, but if he runs to anything like that, these horses, most of these horses have got to improve a ton. That's why he's 4 to 7. I say his form wouldn't normally entitle him to be that short in the Newbury Maiden, and it says something about the Newbury Maiden today.
Number 7 is the horse in question. Harambe, yellow colours, black cap, Wayne Hutchinson on board for trainer Alan King. It was Ollie Stevens here, the former flat trainer, that was giving Wayne the leg up. Now, obviously, with Alan and his team at Barbary Castle. Oscar Maguire, we should just mention, for Ollie Murphy and Aidan Coleman, 1 start, and that horse finished 8th at Uttoxeter in a bumper, but was quite well backed, actually.
Yeah, he's probably more interesting than some. Again, I thought he looked quite well. He's not a bad-looking type. He showed ability before dropping away. He ran like the race was needed at Uttoxeter. Now, they're wasting no more time bumper. They're going over hurdles. As you say, there was a little bit of money for him that day. Presumably, he thought capable of better.
It's interesting, actually, because Ollie Murphy's been training, if you actually sort of equate it to actual time, probably, 14, 16 months, not an awful lot, but already he's sort of established himself in towards the upper echelons of trainers in the National Hunt game.
Yeah, he's prepared to travel around with his horses as well to look for opportunities, so he's certainly working hard at it.
Disco de Plage is halved in price, 25 from 50 is worth noting.
Well, he's a nice type. I'd like to hopefully show some promise, because he hasn't shown too much in 4 races to date, but he physically he's one of the better looking horses in the race.
Runners are making their way out onto the track. Harambe, I think we're sort of the opinion, is plenty short enough for all that he has the best form in the book, and with some lightly raced and some newcomers, if you like, to this game, it'll be interesting to see whether anything caught Richard Hoyle's eye on the way down to the start, or indeed when they're parading down at the start, which is what they are doing now. And it looks as though Big and Better for Brendan Powell and his son Brendan Powell might be one of the horses that is prominent. Of course, they teamed up with that big price winner in that big price exacta the other day.
Yeah, Better Fortune. I say he is a strapping horse, Big and Better. At the moment, he hasn't shown the ability to go with it.
Here's Richard. Anything catch your eye, Rich?
Well, he's certainly big, isn't he? Big and Better. Whether he's going to be better or not is more open to doubt. And Steve's already mentioned Disco de Plage is the other one that looks more of a nice long-term prospect. Howling Milan was keen on the way down towards the start. Kalaki's Tail was taken out a little bit early. He's lining up at the head of affairs as well. So the Watch Racing TV with free trial now. Novices Hurdle Field, 2 miles, half a furlong, gradually approaching the starter here. Sunday at Augusta is a bit skittish at the back, but they're off and racing, although several are more than happy to take their time. Sunday at Augusta, well, nearly took till Monday to start, because it's given them, about 10 to 12 lengths, having been awkward. As out in front, Howling Milan and the keen Big and Better arrive at the first. Already very well strung out here. Light Gunner took it in 3rd, Kalaki's Tail in 4th place. Sunday at Augusta now getting some of that ground he forfeited at the start. Several of these have given the leaders considerable start. Disco de Plage is another, so already strung out by 30 lengths. Howling Milan leads past us by a length from Big and Better in the black and yellow. 3rd place for Light Gunner in the blue, ahead of Kalaki's Tail in the noseband. Clearance is in 5th in the hooped colours, with Hawkerland in 6th. They are 6 lengths clear of Petit Jack, who will corner on the inside of Avant-Garde East as they make the turn. Then behind these we have the likes of Born to Sting, who's in about 9th or 10th place in the red and green colours, on the inside of Oscar Maguire and Anniversary Gift as they make the turn. Harambe at this stage only has about 3 or 4 behind. Point Taken's just ahead of him, and only 3 behind to be exact. Born to Please is one of those, Disco de Plage and the slow starting Sunday at Augusta. So at this stage, the main market leaders are about 30 to 40 lengths behind Howling Milan, who's the exception of those in the market, who's adopting a handy position. The front 5 are a long way clear here, as Anniversary Gift made a mistake over flight number 2. So Howling Milan leads Big and Better, Light Gunner, Kalaki's Tail in clearance, and they're 15 lengths clear now as they arrive at the next flight in the back straight. Petit Jack's trying to make a little bit of ground. A slightly slow leap there by Born to Sting, but several of these riders at the back are still sitting quietly. They're obviously hoping the leaders will come back, but Howling Milan leads them towards the next flight down the back. So Howling Milan in company with Big and Better step over it from Light Gunner in Kalaki's tail. Clearance completes that leading group, who remain quite a long way clear of Hawker Land, who's in that chasing group as well, as they continue their progress on towards the next Avant-Garde East and Petit Jack. Harambe gradually trying to improve in company as well with Oscar Maguire. Big and Better and Howling Milan lead over it from Light Gunner, Kalaki's tail and Clearance. Petit Jack comes next in company with Hawker Land. Avant-Garde East and Harambe in the yellow colours, the next two. Behind these Point Takens on the outside of Born to Sting. Then behind these Born to Please as they exit the back straight. Sunday at Augusta is still towards the back. Anniversary's Gift has dropped right to the tail after that error as the field make the turn down the side. Howling Milan by a neck or so from Big and Better. Light Gunner and Kalaki's tail are 3 lengths away. Further 2 to Clearance, 7 to 8 lengths back. Then to the next pair, who are made up of Petit Jack, who shares that position in company with Hawker Land. Harambe is now making a little bit of progress. Avant-Garde Eastern Point Taken, the next two. Then Born to Please, Disco de Plage as they corner. Oscar Maguire, Anniversary's Gift is tailed off. Sunday at Augusta still only has 1 behind. They are making a little bit of progress, this chasing pack, but out in front, Howling Milan leads from Big and Better. Light Gunner into 3rd place. Clearance is in 4th. Behind these Petit Jack, Harambe improves towards the stand side, takes it in 6th or 7th. Rather clatters through it, however, and Howling Milan still has good track advantage here. 4 to 5 lengths clear from Light Gunner, Petit Jack, then Clearance. Big and Better, Harambe still making progress. Yellow colours stand side, but still with work to do, because Howling Milan over 2 out will have a 6-length lead. Petit Jack in 2nd as Light Gunner blunders, then Clearance. Big and Better made a mistake when weakening. Sunday at Augusta has been pulled up, and Howling Milan is still out clear here for Sam Twiston-Davies. Petit Jack in 2nd. Harambe's just done his running to try and chase and can't get any closer as Howling Milan is over the last well. Howling Milan over from in 2nd, Petit Jack, then Harambe and Light Gunner trying to make inroads, but Howling Milan is a mile clear here for Sam Twiston-Davies and Sam Drinkwater. Petit Jack is in 2nd place, running on stoutly from the back. Born to Please is finishing with a flourish and may run a few of them out of the places, but up towards the line, Howling Milan. A first Newbury winner for Sam Drinkwater, partnered by Sam Twiston-Davies. Born to Please gets up for 2nd, Petit Jack 3rd, Harambe never on terms in 4th place. Behind these Light Gunner and good late headway from Disco de Plage, who's finished quite stoutly into 7th.
He is absolutely bolted up, Howling Milan. The first Newbury winner, as we heard in commentary from Richard Hoyles, for trainer Sam Drinkwater. Sam Twiston-Davies knows what it's like to ride plenty of winners here at Newbury, but I doubt he'll ride many easier than that, Steve.
No, he's absolutely bolted up. I think he's partially helped, I think, by the tactics of some of the riders in the race, in that the first 5 were gifted a very, very long lead early on. Having said that, he's seen those other 4 off extremely easily, and he's bolted up and he's still going away at the finish. I'm not claiming he's in any way a fortunate winner, but it was an odd race to look at in terms of after one flight they were very, very well strung out, and the winner kept it going basically, and this is a big improvement on what he's done.
Interesting to know the position of the track that Sam came down as well. We're seeing the first 2 races and they're sort of far side of the hurdle as we look at them, down the sort of centre of the hurdles track. In truth, it didn't really matter what part of the track Howling Milan was on today.
So the time was about half a second quicker than the opening handicap. But I'd like to say the start's quite, I say it's not made the difference necessarily between winning and losing, but the start was still, again, one of those national hunt starts that you get where there were plenty of horses whose intention was to be held up, and you see them at the first hurdle. There's the first 4 or 5 are gifted really quite a lead.
Sunday at Augusta out the back at the start had sort of whipped round and didn't really want to go forward, a bit of a rodeo act for a few strides before he eventually got going in a forward direction and had cost himself an awful lot of lengths. He eventually was pulled up, but very quickly, as you say, there is, as the eventual winner takes off from the first, the favourite takes off now. There's plenty of distance between them. Yeah,
the runner-up's in sort of, 8th, 9th place, mid-div. The favourite is sort of held up we're now getting to 4 out. Yeah, he hasn't had to work for his lead on it, that's the point. And if you were part of the people who backed it this morning, whatever chance the horse had was certainly increased by the way the race panned out. He was gifted a long lead over several of the other horses who've have ended up being involved in the finish. The winner has certainly had the run of the race. That said, the start he's won, I've little doubt he would have won anyway. He's won very, very easily, but he was certainly helped by the tactics, I think.
Therefore, Born to Please at 80 to 1, who's got second and did best of those in the second pack, if you like.
Yeah.
That's a pleasing effort from him, although he has been well beaten.
He has. I'm saying, I'm not going to try and get too excited about many of the horses, because beforehand it's not a deep race. And Born to Please we know plenty about from the flat. He's got ability. He's won races without being a world beater. But he has done well to finish where he's got. Disco to, sorry, I forgot the surname of it. Disco de Mox has made up some good headway to finish Never Nearer. Deal with Harambe. He was held up a long way back. He's made really laboured headway in the straight, so you can't say that in any way he's an unlucky loser. He's ended up probably jumping the last in third place and being run out, but he's been disappointing, basically, even if he was probably given a fair amount. He was given a fair amount to do, but that's not what's cost him the race. He's actually been, he hasn't run very well anyways. He's a tired horse on the running.
I just wanted to touch on Point Taken as well. To my eye, and I don't know whether you agree, he looked as though he was just over racing a little bit early on.
I thought he was a little bit keen, and as a consequence he hasn't really got home, has he?
No, but the horse in front very much did. Howling Milan, and soon the camera will lose the other runners in behind, I think, because Howling Milan is in a different horse race. In fairness, he has put 26 lengths between him and Born to Please, who ran on for second, and Sam Twiston-Davies had the luxury of being able to give it a long look between his legs to see that there was no other horse in shot. He's bolted up, Niall.
Yeah, he has, and as Steve's already mentioned, he was first past the post in an Irish Point, trained by James Doyle.